Look at you, Sydney. You've outdone your airport with some shrubs. Guess where I am? Already, my mother's artful taste in the living room has upgraded my background by a large margin. So, I know you know the situation, but just in case anybody else is watching, I do not want to confuse them. I am moving out of my aunt's place, but I am still living in South Australia. I am only coming back to Vietnam to visit my family, albeit for quite an extended period of time. But I will be back next year to complete my study. So, as an immigrant, there is a very common feeling of displacement and the lack of belonging to any particular place, especially for those who grew up in many places like you and myself. And being so young when I went to Australia, that intensifies the feeling of loss and confusion. But I'm starting to learn slowly that I may not have one place in mind when people say home, but there is a piece of home in every place I go, and that I never lose my home because there's too a piece of home in me. Write that down as part of my healing journey in being pushed out of my old living situation. Anyway, I touched down in Hanoi around 8:45 p.m. on a Saturday, and it smelled like Hanoi. The air feels thick, like it weighs you down by at least a kilo. It's because of the humidity, which Hanoi has plenty, but also the smoke that lingers in the air. You could feel it. And do you know what I did with all those supposed dirt and grime? I breathed in a deep breath of everything. When I came back 2 years ago after a 6 years hiatus, I was just in shock and awe of everything, like a tourist. Like, oh, neighbors are walls to walls with you and 3 feet in front of your front door, yay! Or I was fantasizing about all the small things. I was like those white ladies that romanticize the poverty, you know? Like the moss that sticks on the wall, like the window that has tarp over it instead of glass. Now there are familiarities that started to seep in, and my new obsession is finding humor and love in the ugly things. I am collecting them like some sort of archives masters, you know? People weave in and out of their motorcycles like waves in a typhoon, not gracefully up and down, but gangly side to side and awkwardly horizontal when illegally against the stream. Vietnam being Vietnam. Or yelling and ringing bells and motorcycles' horns reverberate from the street to the halls like it's an echoing vacuum of sirens. I sleep to it like it's an opera house musical. Why? It's Vietnam being Vietnam. Another Vietnam being Vietnam thing. I was called both sir and ma'am on the flight twice, and that was just on air. Then I kept getting stopped at security check, which I never do, and chosen for random search, and I was wondering why. Turns out it's this. Oh, and then when I went through customs, I got held back because I didn't look like my passport. And just as I was about to exit through the door that my mother was waiting on the other side, guess what I was chosen for? Ding ding ding. Security scam. Was walking to the taxi, got dead stared by the cop. Already got called ugly twice, but in comparison to my older self with longer hair, which they called very beautiful. So I'm not sure how to interpret the message. My neighbor didn't recognize me. Clothing stores owners and workers direct me to tomboy stuff and said despite how I look, I'm surprisingly easy to dress for. I think it was pretty much a protest when I bought my first 2 skirts there. Brain is a funny thing. Mom said that dyed hair is okay in Vietnam. Somewhat. It's the color and particular design that is problematic because apparently it's sex workers' signature hair. Am I going to be subjected to a lot of stares? Yes. Am I bothered by it? Not really. I'm still finding it funny. But I also am trying to be conscientious about my insecurity and acknowledge any discomfort that may arise in my guts. I'm not just going to put it aside and say, ha ha ha, it's just funny. And I also try to soak in rare compliments that I get from, surprisingly enough, my grandmother and a few others. Anything else? Oh my gosh, I am eating so much food right now. It's actually insane, proper insane. I already feel fat and I would not trade it for anything else. I will work the weight off, but now I am here to eat. Otherwise, that is probably the only cereal thing that I will fill in every meals that I've eaten in Vietnam. But other than that, I will just film daily or weekly updates. Otherwise, we know what a struggle it was to edit our Melbourne trip. Don't worry, I do have a few video ideas coming up. Oh, and just saving the best for the last. You know what the greatest gift Vietnam has given me so far, other than the fantastic food? The ability to just cuddle with my mother at night, to hug my grandma tight, and to loop my arms around my little cousin's shoulder. Just to hold somebody and let my love trickle into their bodies. I close my eyes and I see food, but I listen to my heart and it says family. Despite all the arguing and all the crazies, they are the best source of dopamine I've ever gotten. I will see you on Friday, Jazzy.